Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Pointless Top 10, a show where we make top 10 lists out of pointless things. Why are we flying by this pointless statue in Booty Bay? Because inside pointless things are treasure. Let's begin. 10. Number 10 is Sanderhoof and Haemon, and Sanderhoof, the old mountain bull, is a high mountain Tauren found at Sanderhoof's ledge above the Nessingwary retreat in High Mountain, and Haemon is the troll standing next to him, and you can probably guess why he's named Haemon. And neither of these guys have any quests, but they do have a lot of quotes. So Sanderhoof says, "I remember when the world was simpler, where one could be a hero just by driving kobolds away from their home. And I remember a time when respect was shown to one's elders, a time before this troll outsider and his youthful trolling." He's also a level question mark, so this dude might just be a raid boss, like raid boss tier level, who knows. Meanwhile, Haemon says, "Dis old bull be mired in his old ways. He be too happy about it. I aim to fix that, man. There be some harsh truths about this world, harsh truths that be wiping the smile off one's face like a slap from one's mama." And you know, I almost contemplated naming this video NPCs you didn't know existed, but I assume some people would be like, I knew they existed, so I thought Forgot About was just more fun, even though you probably don't know some of the NPCs on this list, and these two might be on that, so that's why Sanderhoof and Haemon are number 10. 9. Number 9 is Got Weedlespan, and Got Weedlespan is the goblin located at the Steam Pools Resort in Feralus, and I almost put Gordon Tramsey on this list, but I was like, you know what? I think people still probably remember Gordon Tramsey. I don't think they remember Got Weedlespan. And he's the assistant resort director, and he says, "Can you possibly work any slower? I'm surrounded by useless idiots." And there's actually some weird stuff with Got Weedlespan, because back in the PTR of Cataclysm, it says, unless the resort had 2 assistant directors, he was originally intended to be named Dodd Finnert and would betray the goblins to the Twilight's Hammer, but this did not make it past 4.1 in the PTR. So the Steam Pools are actually a pretty crazy place. I remember even coming here for the mysterious camel figurine thing where you had to get the reins of the Grey Riding Camel here. There's actually a bunch of stuff with the Steam Pools, but I'll probably go into that on a different pointless top 10. But for now, that's why Got Weedlespan is number 9. 8. Number 8 is Ralik the Drunk, and Ralik the Drunk is an ogre found in the World's End Tavern of Shatrath City, and I always remember going into this inn and seeing this ogre, and it was like the number one thing I'd see, because he just stands out in front of everybody else. But the reason he's there is for the quest Cracking Some Skulls, where you have to fight Ralik and get the debt that he owes to Sal Salabim. Also, if you talk to Ralik, he just says, "What you want?" And that's pretty much all there is to him. He's just a drunk ogre sitting in the World's End Tavern, and he owes somebody money, so you gotta go make him pay his debts. That's really all it is. But I think probably just out of a nostalgia factor and the fact that, like I said, he's just kind of like the elephant in the room, or, you know, the ogre in the room, and he just stands out. So every time I pass by here, I'm like, hey, there's Ralik drinking. And I guess he's been doing that for over 17 years now, so his liver is probably not doing too great. And that's why Ralik is number 8. 7. Number 7 is Tarbin Hearthgrain, and Tarbin Hearthgrain is a Tauren located just east of the crossroads in the Barrens, and he's just cooking a bunch of bread, and he sells a bunch of bread. So this one's actually newer to me, because I didn't even know he existed until I played Classic WoW again, you know, a few years ago when it got re-released, and I was like, who is this guy? And I never even realized him back in the day, and he's just some Tauren dude baking a bunch of bread, and he's got this orc kid who's helping him out. I guess he's like an apprentice or something, but he's also related in some way to Moiraine Hearthgrain, who is located in Crossroads, and she also sells bread. She's the one carrying the loaf of bread, and, you know, I figure it's probably his wife or, you know, some other relative. I don't know. It could be his sister. Who knows? The one thing I did find odd about him is that he's selling all this bread, but then he sells you the recipes for smoked sagefish and sagefish delight. Like, why is the bread guy selling you recipes about fish? That doesn't make sense, right? Like, you would think he'd sell some fish dishes with bread, like casseroles or something. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. So that's the thing that bothers me the most in this situation. But aside from that, I think he's pretty cool, and that's why it's number 7. 6. Number 6 is Wally and Tic Tac, and Wally is a Tuskar, and Tic Tac is a Hosen, and they're found on a small island at the center of the north shore of Kunlai Summit. And Tic Tac is actually a carpenter, and this is all a reference to The Walrus and the Carpenter, which is from Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. And if you talk to Wally, he says, "Welcome, my young friend." And you can say, "How did a Tuskar get the Pandaria?" And then he will actually give you one of many randomized quotes, which are all these like World of Warcraft-ified quotes that are referencing Through the Looking Glass in Alice in Wonderland. So in this one, he says, "The time has come, my goblin friend, to talk of other things, of Hosen and Grummels, and how my tummy rumbles." Meanwhile, Tic Tac's over there, and he's just working on building a boat. So yeah, these are Wally and Tic Tac. I think they're pretty cool. I think a lot of people forgot about them, and that's why they're number 6. 5. Number 5 is Lou the Cabin Boy, Tiny Jim, and Grezik Spindle Snap, all kind of combined into one because they're all just out here together. And I guess Molly the Parrot as well. But Lou the Cabin Boy is the Tauren in the canoe, and he actually carries you over to the Scalawag Point as part of the Tuskar quest chain. And if you talk to him, he says, "I lucked out. Not many Tauren get to be cabin boy on a frigate like this. Grezix even lets me man these incredible battle canoes." Meanwhile, Grezix was a member of the North Sea Freebooters until the loot from Shield Hill was brought in, and when he saw the cursed items were looted from the graveyard, he brought Lou and himself out to Kamagua, the nearby Tuskar village. So he was like, "Yeah, that shit's cursed. I'm getting out of here," pretty much. But whenever I think of Wrath of the Lich King quest, this is just one of those quests that really stands out, and I think it's because I remember Lou the Cabin Boy just canoeing you over to, I think, Silvermoon Harry, which, by the way, Pointless Top 10 weirdest NPCs if you want to learn more about Silvermoon Harry. And they're just like a fun little goofy pirate crew, which I can't believe I didn't put these in Pointless Top 10 pirates either, now that I think about it. I also just double plugged 2 Pointless Top 10, so we're going to cut it there. That's why they're number 5. 4. Number 4 is Dorog the Ruthless, and Dorog the Ruthless is an Ogron of the Bladespire clan that resides atop the Butcher's Rise of Bladespire Citadel in the Frostfire Ridge, and he is actually unleashed by the Frostwolf clan as they invade the Citadel, hurling flaming boulders down on them as they attempt to reach the upper level of the keep. And I completely forgot about him up until recently, where I was looking for Pointless Top 10 stuff, and I flew over here and I was like, wait, who is this guy? And I was like, oh yeah, the big ogre guy that's like hurling big flaming boulders down the side of the Bladespire Citadel. And I was like, dude, this guy would be perfect for this list because I completely forgot that he existed, so I'm sure plenty of other people forgot that he existed. And I just think he's cool. He's just kicking these flaming boulders down like, yeah, these gotta take him out. Even though, you know, they probably take out a couple people, but he ends up dying in the end, and his body ends up being fed to hungry frost wolves. So not a great ending for Dorog the Ruthless, but I think he's pretty cool, and that's why he's number 4. 3. Number 3 is Grandpa Grumpleflute, and Grandpa Grumpleflute is a Grummel located in the Kunlai Summit, and he's just chilling with his lucky doos. Sometimes he plays his flute, and he was actually a rank 4 challenge card in the Brawlers Guild, which I don't think anybody would have expected from Grandpa Grumplefoot unless you actually participated in the Brawlers Guild and fought him. He also has some wacky quotes like, "My flute is good lucky do, you can't have it. Fluting isn't for stupids. Lucky do or lucky don't. Only stupid want to meet bad lucky do. You should dance for my flute toot." And then if you fought him in the Brawlers Guild, he said, "Many bad fortunes to you." I also just went back and listened to what I just recorded, and I said Grandpa Grumplefoot just a few seconds ago, so I'm not going to edit that out. That's just, listen, Grandpa Grumplefoot is his evil twin cousin or something. I don't know. But either way, Grandpa Grumpleflute, really cool Grummel, and a pretty cool grandpa, and that's why he's number 3. 2. Number 2 is Tweak, and Tweak is a vermin located in numerous spots ever since Mists of Pandaria. So he used to be in the Veiled Stair, then in Legion he appears in Dalaran, and currently he's in the Zarlek Cavern. So who knows if he'll be in future expansions. You probably know by now if you're watching this like a couple years after this has been recorded. But Tweak is a vermin that is constantly surrounded by, you know, bottles of alcohol. He's surrounded by like old food. There's guitars, there's old coffee cups, and he has a hookah in one of them. So if I had to guess, I would say that Tweak is definitely a bit of an addict for substances because, you know, there's the hookah, there's the weird chemical lab, there's the alcohol, there's the mushrooms growing, there's all the food everywhere. Like he's got some issues, but you know what? He's still going. Every expansion, he shows up. You know what? I hope one day Tweak is just like, he's clean, he's good, he's just like, "Greetings, gentlemen. I have quit all the substances, and now I enjoy partaking in I don't know, professional boat racing in the Howling Fjord. I don't know. Either way, that's why Tweak is number 2. 1. And number 1 is Jerkin Joe and Skidmark. That's right. You may have never even heard of these NPCs, but Jerkin Joe is a Murloc located in the Dalaran sewers, and Skidmark is a guy standing right near him selling sausages, or at least standing near the sausages, but one of Jerkin Joe's quotes is, "Get your warm beer and cold sausages. Ask for Skidmark and tell him Joe sent you." And some of his other quotes are, "My wife left me for a flounder. Things can't get worse, can they? What's that smell? And has anyone seen my brother Daryl?" Which apparently his brother is Dirty Daryl, a Murloc located at Margos's retreat in Dalaran. So I don't really know any of the lore behind Jerkin Joe or Skidmark or Dirty Daryl, and I really couldn't find anything, but I think sometimes it's better left that way, right? I don't know if I want to know. And that's why they're number 1. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Pointless Top 10. If you want more Pointless Top 10s, you can go watch Pirates. I mentioned that one earlier, and I also mentioned Weirdest NPCs. There's some pretty weird NPCs in this game, as you've probably learned from just watching this video alone. Also, consider supporting the channel over on patreon.com/Wowcrendor or by becoming a channel member. Okay? Okay. See ya.